Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. All right, Two of Swords, crossroads perhaps. There could be a life-changing decision on your table right now. I feel like this is kind of it is a turning point for you. I feel like this is the point in your life where you just say, that's it. I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to do what I need to do in my life. I'm going to make the right kind of changes to put myself on the right path. I feel like this is the moment where you're choosing you're choosing happiness. You're choosing to, you're choosing self-love. Yeah. I feel like it's not really a choice, though. I feel like it's an intuitive calling. It's like you can hear the voice in the wilderness calling you. Yeah. This is a card of, a very thoughtful person. I think that you tend to, you're a Gemini, right? You tend to look at different angles. You tend to look at both sides of the situation. But you always choose your own path. You always choose your own way. You're listening to the left, you're listening to the right, and then you're choosing your own unique way forward. Okay? So it's like you'll listen to both sides of an argument, but you're going to make up your own mind. So in that way, I think you're a little bit of a skeptic. You take in a lot of data, but you don't buy into anything specifically. I find that you're a very eclectic person. That the knowledge, the beliefs that you hold have been slowly built up over time. It's not that you found something that you kind of like, you signed up, and that's it. That's your path. I feel like it's something that's become uniquely yours over time, and it feels very special. Yeah. We're going to put all of this into some context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread, and let's see what else we get. So we have the 10 of Wands. We've got a 9 of Wands. That's very interesting. An Ace of Wands, a lot of fire. We have a Princess of Cups. And a 7 of Cups. 2 of Cups. The Hermit. Interesting now. Okay, Hermit. And the Hierophant. Hermit and Hierophant. And a 4 of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel that you're in a situation where you might be feeling a little, let's say, overburdened with something, right? 10 of Wands, right front and center, very heavy card. It's kind of an oppressive card. It's a card that says there's a lot on your shoulders, that there is a ton of responsibility, and it's all on you, right? And you're saying, wait a minute, I don't know if I want all of this responsibility, right? Maybe this is a work situation. Maybe this is, something in life where it will be all on you. Yeah. And so if we're in that 2 of Swords and we're saying, I'm going to live for me. I'm going to follow my will. I'm going to try to become the very best version of myself. I'm going to do things my own unique way. It seems like we're sort of not really relying on the Hierophant. It is the card of what we kind of don't want right now, right? That maybe we want all the responsibility on our own shoulders. Okay? The greater the commitment, the greater the effort, the greater the satisfaction, right? The 10 of Wands, of course, is maximum effort, and it's all on you. You're responsible for this now. And it's kind of, the Ace of Wands in the background. I feel like you've turned over a new leaf. And you're saying, I'm going to start living in this particular way. I'm going to start doing my own version of life, And it feels like self-love. It feels like you're stepping into your power, stepping into your confidence. And it's a lot of responsibility because now success or fail, win or lose, it's on you. Okay. It could be really the idea of you're sort of starting your own business, or you maybe you already have. We're gonna look at that with the Ace back here. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here and put Kevin, aka Mr. Bates, right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. But it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise of intuition. All right. First, let's take a look around the room. We have some major arcana. We have the Hermit and the Hierophant, right? And they're two similar energies, and they're both very wise energies, right? They are both very full of knowledge and wisdom. They both have an idea of what is sacred. They both are guides, right? Both gatekeepers in a way, right? One is sort of, one's external, and I think one is internal, right? So we could have here really that juxtaposition between following the rules and following your own intuition, following the way everybody sort of says you should do it, and then your own unique way, right? And I wonder if that's sort of the dilemma here. I wonder if that's the Two of Swords. Do I go by the book, or do I go by my own spiritual light? Do I do it my way, or do I do it everybody else's way? Do you conform, or do you go against the grain? Well, I think what we see with the Two of Swords is that it's not really an either or, black or white question. There's a false dichotomy there. There is a third option. It is the transcendent option right at the top. It's that lunar energy. That lunar crescent at the top shows us the intuitive way to go right in between the extremes. It doesn't have to be either you take the left or you take the right. There's a different path. I think you're forging your own path, and I think it's going to lead to great success for you. But that doesn't mean that you're abandoning all of the knowledge or wisdom, or you're throwing away all the textbooks. You're not burning all the books, right? You still need to go to the library. You still need the internet to Google everything and to research what you're doing. But you're not blindly following what you're being told. Right? So there's a way here of blending together the Hermit and the Hierophant. Okay, in some ways this is also extroversion and introversion. Okay, this is seeking a master outside, and this is you seeking your master inside. Seeking your guide, right? How are you being guided through your life right now? So we've got our majors, we've got our fire, we've got our water, we've got our air right in the middle, and we've got our earth at the end. Right. So very interesting here that there is also this sort of extreme dichotomy between the fire, fire, fire and the water, water, water. Right. And of course the air and the earth holding it all together. I think the air and the earth is talking about, your particular choices and how they're going to lead to your goal. This is Four of Pentacles, right? It's success. It's power. Right? It is you manifesting your life, maybe segment by segment, right? We have these long-term goals in life, and I think that you are you're breaking them down into individual chunks. So when we get a Four of Pentacles, this is saying that your will has succeeded, has triumphed. You have manifested this, right? And this is, kind of a one chunk, one step toward your very best life, towards your sort of dream come true happiness, right? And I think that this is a real accomplishment. This is the sense of power, right? Because it's kind of like you're looking at it and you're saying, well, it might not be much, but I did that, It makes you, I almost said a naughty word. It's that sort of satisfaction. I did that, And maybe right now there's the 10 of Wands effort and a 4 of Pentacles result, right? And that seems to me like it's a little much. It's a tremendous effort for not really an equal result, There's too much fire and there's not enough earth. You'd expect it maybe to equal. The amount of effort I put in is exactly the kind of product I'm getting out of it. So in other words, I think that right now, because of I feel like you're just sort of starting out somewhere. It's either your own business or it's just this more abstract or spiritual or philosophical kind of thing. But at the beginning, it takes a long time to produce one little, let's say you've got an Etsy business or something, or maybe you're doing YouTube. When I first started doing YouTube, it would be level 10 effort. And then I would get, level 4 kind of, reading or video done, So it was a lot of hours, a lot of work. And I'd only produce 1 or 2 readings, But as you learn over time, you learn from yourself, your inner guide, you learn from the Hierophant, right? You learn from other people that have done it too. Then you become more efficient, right? And then you can either scale back your effort. So, okay, I'm 1 video a day is fine. I'm gonna knock it back and I'm gonna have to devote less time and energy to it. Or you keep the same amount of effort, but now you're getting 2, 3, 4 times as many things. Now, in the time it takes me to do 5 videos, I film 5 readings every day. That same amount of time would have only resulted in 1, maybe 2 readings when I first started. You get better at using the equipment. You get better at tapping into the energy. And even though the readings are getting longer, I'm more efficient. I don't know how it works. A lot of it has to do with the equipment that you get and you're sort of learning the routine, right? And that, I think, is what you're doing right now. And it may feel as if you put in all those hours and all you got was this. That's okay. It's going to be like that at the beginning, right? This is your dream. This is your baby. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep growing. I know that you want to go outside the box and you want to go against the grain, but you've got to accept a little bit of the Hierophant. Right now over here, this is the card we don't want. We don't want the Hierophant. We don't want to do something like anybody else has done. We don't want to have to, we don't want to have to do things the same way. We don't want to have to follow what everybody else has done that came before us. We don't want to have to follow the rules. We don't want to have to, read the textbook and try and do things in that sort of preordained way, right? So when we're here, when you're just starting out, it's fresh, you have all of this excitement, all of this enthusiasm. You spend hours and hours and hours working on something and then, hot dog, I got one little thing, a lot of work and a relatively small reward. But that's okay because it feels so satisfying, right? Because you're just starting out and you're very impressed with what you've accomplished, yeah. We've got the Ace of Swords in the background. I think this is you just beginning this thing, whether it's a business, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a musical thing, an artistic thing, creative, whatever. Whatever it might be. It might be even some kind of exercise or a sport. It might be a meditation, For that example, when I first started meditating, I've been meditating for 20 years. That's how old I am. Not 20, but and whatever. When I first started, it would take me hours and hours and hours and not even the time. We're not even talking about time. Let's say I meditate for an hour every day. When I first started, that hour would feel like an eternity. It would feel so terrible and just grueling. My body would hurt, my head would hurt, and I barely had any kind of rhythm to my breathing. I never really got settled, never really got to that sweet spot. It was grueling, right? Now, meditate for an hour, and like that, I'm in the sweet spot. Whatever you want to call that. I don't want, we don't have to get into the technical discussion of it, but into that sweet spot where I really feel like I'm in that kind of zone. I'm balanced. My breathing is there, and it's just, I feel a little bit more tranquil, let's say. You get to that zone, It's the same amount of time, but it's way less effort, So that hour that goes by, you can reach so many different areas of, let's say, your meditative state. The same amount of effort, but way, way more results. Okay, and I feel that's where you're at. I feel like it started with the Ace of Wands back here. It's leading us, of course, into the Two of Swords, where we're starting to rethink some things that are going on, right? Because we realize that, wow, I put in all that effort and all I got was, a small reward. But it's still new, okay? This is something that you just started very recently. Maybe it was a month, maybe it was a year ago. It's still very recent, okay? So you're still figuring out how everything works. You're still figuring out ways to streamline things. And it's about, how can you accomplish the little steps with less effort? Can you automate things? Can you streamline things? The time it takes you to, get into your meditative posture and settle your breathing down. Is there anything we can do to sort of streamline that, If it's video production or musical production, can you find a way to leave your equipment all set up so you don't have to tear it down and build it back up every day? That takes a long time, right? Do you have a dedicated, let's say practice space? Let's say you're learning a musical instrument. If you have a dedicated practice space, you can just walk in, sit down, and get going. Otherwise, you've got to set everything up, and let's say you have an hour to practice. You're spending half of that time just getting ready. You should come to work already warmed up, in the famous words of Robert California. You need to show up here already warm. And if it's this same thing with a sport, you're training for a martial art, or you're training for a competition or for a marathon or something. It's about maximizing the time you have. If you have level 10 effort, how do we get the most out of that level 10 effort? We want level 10 results, level 20 results, ideally, right? But don't despair, because I think you're still quite new at this. Even if it's been a few years, you're still learning, okay? We got a 9 of Wands underneath the surface, and this is really your strength. It doesn't deter you that you put in level 10 effort and got a level 4 result, It doesn't make you want to quit, but it can be frustrating. We got a little bit of that air energy, that Two of Swords. We're starting to rethink some stuff, because this is now, you spend this hour or whatever, and you're spent at the end of it. And it's like, if you're going to keep punishing yourself in this way, it's like you go to the gym and you put in all of this effort, and there's no result from it. Well, maybe what we're rethinking is, maybe the experts are right. Maybe I got to do different exercises for my physiology. Or maybe I've been doing the same exercises too much, and now I'm spent at the end of my gym session, but I haven't actually done anything, haven't really improved anything, But it could be, and I want to look at this from all angles if we can. It could be, with the 7 of Cups in front of you, that this is the appearance of stagnation, the appearance of not a lot of results, but really it's one of those, let's say, death card changes, right? Where it's slow and steady over time. You're not going to see going to the gym every day. You're not going to see results every time you look in the mirror. You may 3 months or so, then you'll see, okay, yeah, my arms are a little bigger and, oh yeah, I can breathe better, like it's noticeable. But on the day-to-day, you're not going to notice it, right? So the Seven of Cups could be an inaccurate perception of the situation. We feel like we're stagnating, but that's not the truth. We feel like we're putting in level 10 effort and we're getting jack shit. No, it's a family show, and we're getting not a lot of anything back. Okay, it could be that we're incorrect in that assumption or in that perception of things. We are getting something back, and it is very valuable, and it should be very satisfying. I think with this card here, the Nine of Wands, we want things to go faster. We want there to be more rewards for the amount of effort that we're putting in. Okay. And this is also, I think, as a future position card, it's letting us know that if things continue with the way they're going, we're going to sort of lose hope on this project or this work or this endeavor, this undertaking, right? That if we keep putting in and punishing ourselves, putting in all the late nights and long hours, and we're not getting the rewards or the gains that we're looking for, eventually we're going to end up quitting. Okay, so we either need to readjust our perception of what we're actually accomplishing, or we need to find a way to streamline our accomplishment, streamline our energy, become more efficient so that we can get the gains that we are looking for, right? Now we've got the Princess of Cups at the top here. The reason why you're doing all this, it is your dream. This is something that means the most to you. This is going to be something that's going to make you unbelievably happy. Like you have no idea how happy you're going to be with this if you avoid this, right? Whatever this exactly is for you. All of this effort is leading us straight up the pipe here, straight up the vertical axis of the path of the dove, right to the top, right to this dream come true. This is the solidification of your dream, whatever this is. Okay? And with the Ten of Wands, I do feel like this is something that you maybe had the option of doing it with someone else, or like as part of a team or part of a group or part of a company, but you're just kind of saying, you know what, I'm gonna do it. That maybe you are a musician, maybe you hired a band and you said, nah, I'm gonna play all the instruments myself. You're like a Trent Reznor over here. It's a lot more work. Things are gonna move slower. So be ready for the Seven of Cups to show up, but keep in mind the dream come true. That yes, it's going to take longer, it's going to be slower progress, but it's going to be so much more satisfying because you are doing it your way, your creative energy, your vision. I think this is your vision, right? The Ace of Wands is confirming that. Now, as we go to the path of the serpent, I'd like to ask for your subscription and your autograph. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything, supports the channel. And I appreciate that. So, the Two of Cups now. Now we've got the Two of Cups. I think the Two of Swords is you rethinking this idea of going solo. And maybe this just wasn't the right team for you. Maybe this just wasn't what it was before, right? The reason why you decided to go your own way is because it just wasn't working with them. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's many, maybe it's a company, maybe it's a lover, maybe it's a friend. It just wasn't working with them. Okay? There was no compatibility, maybe there was no love, there was no respect, there was no rapport, right? There was no mutual exchange. It's like you want to be on the same vibe as somebody, like we're feeling each other. Like we can just get into, it's like when you get two bandmates together and you can just jam and play, and it's just like you're just feeding off each other. You're both in the zone. You don't have to like stop and say, okay, what key are we playing in? What's the time signature? What's the style here? No, it's just like you just grab your guitar and there's just this flow, right? That's what we want. That's the Two of Cups here. This is about love. Yeah, it's the glue that holds everything together. This is why bands, successful musical ensembles, can stay together and achieve unbelievable success, even though they really hate each other, personality-wise. In the swords cards, you know, they don't get along. But when they're in that room together and they're playing music, it's all love, baby. There's something that glues everybody together. That's how you know you got the right team, even though, you know, outside of the studio or off stage, they have different opinions. They have different styles. They really don't like each other's opinions. You know, they're from different sides of the aisle, maybe, and they don't have to get along. This is where it matters, right? This is where it's really important to get along. And I think if you don't have one, but you have the other, then you're in okay shape. You got to have at least one, I think, you know? So I think part of your Two of Swords is you recognizing that the right team member, the right partner, when they come along, you will know and you will be open to that. In the meantime, it's finding other ways to streamline your work and make yourself more efficient at doing what you're doing, whatever it is. Until the right teammate comes along, you've got to try to be as efficient and as productive as possible. Okay? And it's really, you know, that kind of segues right into the Hermit, you know, because the Hermit is, maybe sequestered from everybody, maybe has sort of retired from the environment, you know, this is in the position of the environment. So it's just kind of like you're not out there looking for your people. You're not out here socializing. You know, you're following your light. You're following your own inner guide. Okay? But at the same time, I think that you are still in the world, and you're open and you're receptive to meeting somebody, crossing paths, let's say, with somebody who is going to fulfill that sort of requirement for you. You're not out there looking for it, but if you stumble upon it or it crosses your path, then okay. You know, I'm not out here looking to adopt a pet, but if a stray cat finds its way to my doorstep, well, I'm going to take it in. Okay, or my wife will anyway. So it's kind of like that. And I think this too is about you wanting to do things your way and only your way. You're going to go completely off trail here, and you're going to light your own path forward. This is going to be an issue because of this Hierophant. See, now that we're over here on this phase over here, we're starting to realize that maybe we need the Hierophant a little bit. Okay, we need a little bit of the expertise of others. And maybe this is the idea too, that when you're over here and you're putting in all of this effort and it feels like we're kind of struggling a little bit, maybe there's a resistance to you accepting a teacher, accepting that anybody, anywhere can tell you something. You know, we've all been in that energy, you know, where we're trying to do something and I know that I can figure it out, and then someone comes along and says and tries to help me or tries to give me an instruction, tries to school me on something, you know, and we resist it. We say, get out of here. Get out of here, I got this. You know. And it's like that. And if this is a musical thing, this is the idea. Well, these two are the ideas that, yes, you have to follow your own vision, your own heart, your own guiding light about your art. Right? But you also have to sort of be willing to learn the rules of art. You have to understand the framework within which you're trying to operate and succeed. And we know the rules before we can transcend the rules. Right? And I think what you're doing thereby is really creating a very stable foundation in your life. You're creating a very stable success. Okay, this is something, we know, Four of Pentacles, we start looking around for the Five. We know things are going to change from here. We know that the Fours represent impermanence, or they suggest impermanence, I guess, or they remind us of it. But in the moment, I think we can be in that sweet spot. We can realize that this is us dwelling in that wonderful world that we've built. Knowing that it's going to keep progressing, we have to keep moving forward, we have to keep growing and expanding in our skills and talents. We have to keep learning more things and accepting new people. You're going to have many teachers in your life. Many, many teachers. Okay? And I think that you're not out here looking for help, begging for help, but you'll know when the right teacher comes around. When you find the right teacher or stumble across them or whatever word you want to use, you'll recognize that and you'll be open to accepting that sort of instruction. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. I want to see all of the water energy. I want overflowing cups here. 9, 10 of cups, 6 of cups would be cool. Overflowing water energy. Or the Empress. The Empress would be good too. Empress is always welcome. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Let's see what we have. The Fool, but it's upside down. And I really make it a point not to have my cards upside down. I don't read reversals. I read them, but I don't intentionally put them in my pack. You know, some people, they're shuffling their cards and they'll take their tarot packs and they'll flip them around like this as they're shuffling them, you know. So that it's pretty much 50-50. That, you know, cards that are right side up or upside down. So you know kind of what you're doing there. I try to keep everything facing the same way. So when something does show up upside down, it's an anomaly. It's a meaningful coincidence, right? It's something that's there that really shouldn't be. So we look at it. And to me, it adds more meaning to the upside down cards. The Fool upside down, right? So I think you're off on this new journey, that you have taken this great leap of faith, right? And sometimes it feels like we're in over our heads, right? But there's still that pride that kind of says, get out of here, I can figure it out. There's also, I think, in this card, a very important reminder of your direction, your purpose here. See, the Fool is very free and just kind of wandering, stumbling into everything. It doesn't really have much of a direction, right? Upside down, I think, is the Fool trying to be grounded, right? So you could be, and also, I got to say, the Fool is the card of natural talent, raw talent, right? But it's upside down here, so it feels like it's kind of like raw talent isn't working. Raw talent isn't enough. I guess they say that too, you know, like talent is only like 10% of success. The other 90% is like just hard work, you know, or dedication or perseverance or skill. And we've got all that in this reading. So this is you realizing that you do have this raw talent, and now you need to supplement that with all of these other things. And you have no idea how happy you'll be. Okay? No idea how happy you'll be. The Four of Pentacles is suggesting that there's a financial component that's going to stabilize. Okay? And it's kind of saying that you're going to have all the resources you need because you're going to have to spend some money. Maybe you're going to buy that studio space or rent it or lease it or whatever. Maybe you're going to turn your garage into the art studio or the practice studio or the recording studio, whatever. Rehearsal space, yeah. The Fool is a card that's trying to stay grounded, but also trying to keep the magic, you know, trying to keep the sort of transcendent nature of what you're doing, but still kind of be practical, right? The Fool's not a very practical card at all. So I think that's sort of the message here, that we have to be thoughtful. We have to be considerate of the practical realities of things, right? The practicalities. And in that sense, we do need a little bit of the Hierophant, even though it's not our favorite. You know, the Fool just wants to sort of fly, just leap over the Hierophant, doesn't care about rules, doesn't care about consequences. So we're trying to stay grounded a little bit while still keeping our soul kind of soaring through the air, right? Keeping our spirit free, but yet still making those good decisions. Very interesting reading for you. We're going to do an extended too. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There is a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. Doesn't cost anything. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.